Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Chad here with another In the OT podcast for BetHubb Today we are breaking down the big story in the world of sports within the last 24 hours, which is, of course, none other than Lance Armstrong deciding to end his fight against the USADA doping allegations that stem back from evidence that they accumulated from 2009 and 10, which means that he will be stripped of the 7 Tour de France titles that he won in his career. And to me, this absolutely indicates 100% that he is guilty of everything that they had charged him with using doping and performance-enhancing drugs throughout his career. Because at the end of the day here, when I analyze the excuse and the reason that Armstrong stated here for not wanting to continue fighting this, it is absolutely bogus. He said that it's too much stress for his family. He can't handle them having to deal with this on a daily basis. He said that it's too much of a financial burden and it's just not worth it anymore. It's not worth it anymore. Who does he think he is kidding here? Quit is not a word in the vocabulary of Lance Armstrong, a man who fought through one of the most brutal cancer battles that anybody could have and be able to overcome that and still win Tour de France's after the fact. Quit is not a word for a man that starts his own foundation to raise $500 million. And then when you want to talk about allegations as serious as this, that he is denied from the very beginning, that affect his entire legacy and his public image, give me a break. This all indicates to me that he knows he is guilty, and it's better off for him to just say that he's going to quit now instead of them actually finding him guilty, because now there's still going to be some doubt with people in society. And they're going to say, well, there wasn't enough evidence to prove it. You just don't know until the evidence is proven. And he knows at the end of the day that that is the case, because if he really was that firm in his thoughts on being innocent, he would continue to fight this till the bitter end. You're trying to tell me someone that's gone through everything in his life is just going to quit that way? That it's too much stress on his family? What, you think the stress level and the burden is going to change now? Not at all, because people are still going to have their thoughts on it, and he's still going to be ridiculed in the public eye. So that doesn't change anything from that perspective. And I don't want to hear about the financial problems that he's having to go out there and afford lawyers to fight this. He has plenty of money. And in the event that he doesn't, I can almost assure you that there'd be enough people in society that he could go to raise some money in order to go out there and defend himself. Out of the $500 million that he raised, and out of all the people that have constantly said from day one there's not enough evidence to prove that he's guilty, I'm sure he could have raised money to get the proper lawyers to come back and fight for him. It's nothing more than an excuse, and someone that does not want to come up and own up to what he's done in the past. And to say that the USADA is acting like bullies, well, then I guess you can consider their whole organization bullies, because all their job is to do is protect people from going out there and cheating and violating the rules within a sport. Now, personally, I don't care that much if people violate the rules in a sport that are based around performance-enhancing drugs, because at the end of the day, if an athlete wants to go out there and damage their own body for the sake of excelling in their career, hey, that's their own decision. As long as they're not affecting the rest of society, and from a criminal standpoint, it doesn't really bother me. As a matter of fact, I quite enjoy it. If athletes can put on the best performance possible and provide the most entertainment for us, the fans, then so be it. And even if it is illegal in the sport, I'm willing to look past it, considering a sport of cycling where almost everybody does it anyways. So it's not like he has a massive playing field advantage compared to the field where everybody else is doing it anyways. It'd be one thing if he was one person out of the hundreds of people that are in these races, but we all know that is not the case. So that's why I don't have that big of a deal with it. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, he's still going to be regarded as the greatest racer of all time. And at the same point in time, even though they're going to take away the 7 Tour de France titles, we all know he won them. From a visual evidence standpoint, we have seen it. So that's why I don't get that worked up with the fact that he actually cheated. It's the fact that he lied after the fact. Why can't he just come and admit and say, yeah, I did it. You know what? I got caught up in the mix and I tried to do whatever I could to perform at the highest level. Maybe I pushed boundaries too far and I cheated just like everybody else did in the sport. And you think that someone like Floyd Landis that came out on ABC Dateline a few years ago and exposed some of the facts that he had was making that up? Absolutely not, because then Lance Armstrong would have gone after him with defamation lawsuits. And do you think that if he was not guilty of all these charges put on him with the doping and the performance-enhancing drugs, that he'd be going after the USADA harder and wanting to sue them for defamation, if he's so concerned about his legacy and he wants to fight for his innocence because that's what he cares about, his image, why wouldn't he want to go after it from a financial standpoint if that's one of the reasons he's claiming he doesn't want to do this anymore? None of it makes sense. It's all a bunch of BS. Him trying to cover up, knowing that the book is coming down hard on him, and by doing this now, he'll try to spin it off another way that is too much stress for him, instead of actually having them come out and explain the full facts of exactly what went on. So you guys know where I stand on this. Chad here with another In the OT podcast for BetHubbSportsblog.com.